Alrighty, thank you everyone for attending the women's panel. I'm Emily Cosson and we have
Amity
and Tammy Paton.
And we're just going to share our experience of being women in the pinball scene, which is mainly a male-dominated sport. So share all of our experiences, and we're all living in different parts of Australia. So just let you know what we're doing within Australia right now to help grow the inclusivity and women in pinball. So first off, we're just going to start with some introductions. So I'll go first. I'm Emily Cosson. I've been playing pinball since I was probably like 4 years old, but I've been playing competitively since I was 9, I think officially was the first time that my score was entered into official IFPA tournament. And it's because of that guy right there in the front. It's his fault. He started collecting pinball machines when I was really young, so it was something that I just always knew growing up. And now I've been the #1 woman player in Australia for too long to remember how long. Thank you. 8 years maybe?
Yeah, I think you've recently been surpassed by Sierra.
No, not yet. I'm still, no, it's close, but not yet. No, I think I've gone up from BPAC last week to 30 something in Australia, and she's in the 50s. So we've got plenty of women in the top 100 now in Australia, which is really awesome to see. Way more tournaments around the country to get our points up, which is really amazing to see. But I'll pass it over to Amity now.
Yeah, I'm Amity. I've been playing since I was 18. That is the fault of the man in the back. I started competing about 9 years ago. Main reason for that was again, the man in the back decided it was a good idea to try and get me out of the damn house. It worked. Now the only reason why I leave the house is pinball. And I, a few years ago, started the Bells and Chimes here locally. Bells and Chimes is a worldwide organisation, and we are about putting forward women and femmes and thems in pinball. I'll pass it over to Tammy.
All right, guys, first time I've ever been up here and spoken on a microphone, so bear with me. I bought my first pinball about 12 years ago and was just playing at home with my husband and my girls. And then my youngest girl went out one night on the town and came home, and because of where she was, it came up on her Facebook page that there was a comp happening around the corner. So we get on the YouTube and check out all these comps and sitting there going, oh my God, there's heaps of people. We bit the bullet, we went out there, and it was as scary as anything. So I've only been playing for 12 years, but I've only been playing competitively for about 4 years. Just only recently started the women's comps in WA. We're on our 4th or 5th comp now. Main aim over there is to make it fun and to teach new people how to play and to get women into the comps. And if we can do that, then hopefully a lot more of us will start travelling. We travel a lot. We're fortunate to be able to do that because we love coming to other states and playing the games that we won't get over there. We're very, very lucky. We have one pinball arcade that only has LEs in it, brand spanking new LEs, which makes it harder to play the classics and all those sort of things, which is why we travel to play those ones. So, yeah.
Awesome. You guys kind of skipped very quickly to the competitive side. No, it's good, because what?
Current Australian Pinball Expo tournament champion.
Oh, yes, the first tournament this morning was won by Tammy. There were 40 players of mixed bag. I think we had a couple of ladies in there. I was playing it. Just don't look at where I came. It was early. But pretty much, yeah, I think it will be very casual. We're just going to share our experiences of being, the least dominant kind of group within pinball, kind of explaining, where we've come from and where you can try and help your community in being more inclusive. I'm really happy that we have a mixed bag in here. It's not just all the ladies coming to see this talk, because it is really the responsibility of everyone to try and make sure that we can create pinball to be welcoming and inclusive so that we can keep this hobby alive, because sharing from there's Petra.
There's Petra.
Petra, you're meant to be up here. No?
Yes, you are.
Okay. That's okay. Petra's done a lot, though. she's going to hide at the back, but she has done a lot with women in pinball here. So yeah,
Yes.
give her a round of applause. But yeah, so coming back to when I first started playing pinball, I'm from the Gold Coast originally, and I've moved to Brisbane, which is a lot more welcoming now. But when I started on the Gold Coast, I think we had probably regularly 30 players at Time Zone was our regular spot before it got sold off, unfortunately. But we got all brand new Sterns. It was a really great opportunity to play a bunch of new games every time a new pinball machine came out. They always donated, well, not donated, they had a partnership with Stern. So every single new Stern that came out, we got to play it the exact same day, which is a really good opportunity as someone young. To be able to play all the new Sterns and not have to travel overseas. But we didn't have a big women's scene back then. I think I only had one other woman that I played with consistently, who was Holly. She did a lot of really good stuff. What? Yeah. I played for a while by myself, but it was really good. I would say everyone that I surrounded myself with was very welcoming, which was really nice. But again, I'm not sure if that was because I was a woman or because I was under 18. So I've had a very good entry into pinball because I was a kid, and all these older guys are like, we need to make sure that she actually still likes pinball, because otherwise the next generation isn't going to like pinball. If we treat them badly, we're not going to be able to keep this hobby alive. And for a very long time, I was coping with the fact that, hey, I might be the only one left, you know? After all of these people have gotten older, their reflexes are gone, I'm going to have to cope with the fact that I'm going to be the only one standing, maybe only women too, because there was no other women in my local area. And then you guys sprung up from where I don't even know, because I didn't know you guys. I didn't travel too much. So if you want to explain a little bit about what's your guys' experiences when you first started playing competitively within your area growing up.
Okay, my experience, because I'm from Adelaide, we went to a local place that sells pinballs. A couple of the people who were up here earlier were there, and they were the people that made me feel the most welcome. Thank you, Matt and Tom.
Yay! Thanks, Matthew.
And like, if not for them, I wouldn't have gone back the following competition. And that's actually the competition where I had my first panic attack. That was fun. It's not the first time I've had a panic attack, but it's not also not the last time I've had one at a competition. It definitely will not be the last. But the great thing about this community is that everyone gives a damn enough to go, are you okay? Where can we take you? What can we do for you to make you feel more comfortable? And that's important not just for women in the community. It's important for those of us who have disabilities. And like, I was actually the only female competing in South Australia for 5 years, I think, and then Petra came along. Yeah, Petra has done a lot for this community, and like
We're just going to keep outing you, Petra, because you're not up here.
Yeah,
We're just going to say how amazing you are because you can't talk about it.
Oh, hang on, there is another microphone.
There is another mic if you want to talk from back there. She doesn't want to be seen.
Too bad. But yeah, like all the guys, or at least made me feel really, really welcome, and they wanted me to stick around because, you know, got to make sure we keep this female playing because no one will damn well believe us. And I shall pass on to Tammy now.
Like I said before, we found our first comp on Facebook with my youngest daughter, so all four of us decided we would traipse out to this pinball competition. We walked in the door and went, oh shit, what have we done? They were the roughest, gruffest looking crowd you could ever imagine. Lovely people, very, very welcoming, very helpful. They were amazing with my girls who were a lot younger at the time. And yeah, so that was only myself and my girls playing, and then I think one or two other women started to join in. and they came a lot more because more women were going, and my girls as well. And since then, I haven't looked back. I pretty much do every comp there is. I need more practice. So, yeah, we travel a lot, like I said before. My girls used to travel with us, but they've grown up and got jobs and can't do it now, which is they don't like, but too bad, so sad. I get to go on my own with my husband. So, yeah. We try and make it as inclusive as we can, and every new person or female that comes, we sit there and we help them and we tell them, give them advice on the machines, how to start, what they should be hitting, and help them every step of the way. We're the first people in there to help. So, yeah, pretty much it.
Awesome. Okay, so I just thought of a really good question now that we're on the topic of talking about why it's good to have inclusivity. We can go back this way. Tammy, why do you think it's important that we need to start doing more, I guess, having existence of women's only tournaments as well as the Open? Because a lot of people are like, why are they allowed to play in their own exclusive tournament? Why don't we have a men's only tournament? If, there's a few people that I don't know in here, if you can enlighten the audience, why do we have women's tournaments, and why have we strived to have this in the community recently?
I can't speak for any other state, but over in WA, like I said, I've just started the women's comps, and a lot of the women are coming up to me saying, I'm glad you started this, because they don't, as much as we try and keep them comfortable and stuff in the opens, they don't feel that comfortable. We have a couple of ladies with special needs as well, which we help out, and they're not very comfortable playing with 30, 40 people. So, and we get some young kids. So I've said, all young girls can come in as well, and it's easier for them to play with, I guess, female that are more accepting, more helpful, more nicer kind of thing, rather than them coming up to, we've got some lovely guys, but they look a bit gruff around the edges, and it does scare people when they walk in. Yeah, him. He's very gruff around the edges. Yeah, no, it's. I think it's good for women to have their own comps. I've been competing throughout my whole life with other things that I've done, and I've always had a women's comp to go in. I've always had the opens to go in, and I just think it makes it better for other women and young girls to get into it.
Okay. One of the reasons I think it's important is that it is a far more welcoming environment for the women's tournaments than it is the Open. A lot of people wouldn't believe it, but yeah, it's far more welcoming, a lot more fun. I hate to say it, but it is
social in ours, I would say, even though it is a competition. Like recently we had the Brisbane Masters, which is the biggest Australian tournament, and we had, our first time we had 68 women and non-binary players. So it was just exceeding the amount every other time. And it was, even though it's a competition, it feels very social,
it's got
very
such
fun.
a vibe.
Yeah.
And getting people to come along to an open competition when they're not even comfortable generally with, it's like, come along, have some fun, and it's a good way to introduce them to competition without being with ultra competitive players.
Yeah, I would say that even in the women's scene, obviously, we have a lot of top competitors, like even some of the top 100 players in the world are women. It's just the way that we perceive sometimes, I think, that we all want everyone to play, and because we are the minority, we want everyone to stay as well. So that's why I think it's really important to have women's tournaments within any big tournament realm, just because it's breaking that barrier to entry. Because if you're, for example, it's a good way to put it this way. At Brisbane Masters, I've been hosting it for the past 3 years, and the first person that hosted the women's tournament, they blocked off entry to everyone that wasn't competing. So even if you had your partner with you, they weren't allowed in. It was only exclusive to the women and non-binary players, which was great for us. We're like, yay, cool, no men allowed, we just have the space to ourselves. But thinking back to when I was 10, even though it's a room full of women, they're all 30 years older than me. I can't relate to them. And it's actually very harming if you're someone that's under the 18 and I'm not allowed to bring my dad into the tournament. I wouldn't compete still. So you have to look at that from that perspective too, that women's tournaments are great as well, but they still need to be open enough that it allows the younger generation to come in too, because if you were to say, hey, to a 5-year-old outside, come and play with the women in here, but you're not allowed to bring your dad in to help you play. We'll help you. They're not going to want to do that. So that was a big eye opener for me too, that I'm very comfortable now with the scene because I know all the people, even though they're the opposite gender. They all know me, they respect me. But if I was just trying to play when I was 10 years old and they were told, no, you're not allowed to bring your dad in, I think I would have said, yeah, no, I can't do that. I don't know any of these people, but again, reiterating your points, like it's been so amazing to see that now not even just the centralised area, which is, Queensland has a lot of comps. Now everywhere in the world and country have women's tournaments. So it's just helping women that just are not too sure if they want to compete yet, but, they're getting a little bit of a competitive edge when they're practicing. They're like, yep, I want to commit to that. So, yep. A question already? For me.
The current situation with the Women's World Championship is they take half the field from the top ranked women of the Open Division.
Yes.
Half the field.
From the women's only. Yep.
Is that ideal for you, or should be?
So what has been the question, which a lot of people may not know? So for the longest time that I've known, so there's the World Championships where they take about top 10? No, the World Championship. So this is just everyone in the world they look at. They take top 2 from each country, and then the rest of the spots they fill out with, I think, to the top 30 in the world, and then the rest of the in-fights just come from the rest down the rankings. So for the longest time, to qualify for the Women's World Championship, which is hosted normally in America, because that's where most of the players come from, you had to be ranked in the women's only rankings. So what we just discussed earlier were women's tournaments, and they're a different ranking point to the Opens tournaments, because technically if we were getting all these points from doing all the women's tournaments and none of the, men could get them, then it would be really mismatched. So they decided to make a separate women's ranking system. So for the longest time, you couldn't qualify for the Women's Worlds unless you were in the top 32 in the women's rankings. So now, me growing up playing, and I've only played in open tournaments because there weren't any women in the country to host the women's tournaments, I could never qualify. So about 3 years ago, I actually qualified for the first time for the Women's World Championship because they instead were like, hang on, there's a lot of women in the world that love playing with other women, but they actually don't choose to play women's only comps. For whatever reason, they just love playing open tournaments. They love playing with everyone. So they're never going to qualify for the Women's Worlds because they're never actually submitted into the women's rankings. So they decide to take the top 16 from the women's rankings and then the top 16 from the overall rankings. So all of the tournaments that I play in, all of the open tournaments in the world get put into there, and then you're actually ranked. So I think that I think it has some adjustments that needs to be made, but I think it's still a very fair way to go about it because you've got the top 16 women who only play with women, they're able to qualify, but then you've also got the top 16 women in the world rankings who play in all these big tournaments against every skill level because they're open tournaments, but they're also able to qualify. So I think there can still be a few adjustments maybe in the future. Hopefully one day they can do something similar to the World Championship where they invite 2 from each country, because then, we've always got 2 Aussies maybe, 2 New Zealand players, 2 Canadians, something like that would be really cool. But for now, I think they've definitely done a good job at making sure that it caters to everyone, because I know a lot of ladies, especially in America, like they're already at a pretty high level that they like to just put all of their energy for a weekend into the Open, because unfortunately, it's still that thing where the women's tournaments obviously don't get as big of a prize pool as the open tournaments, so they put all of their energy into the open tournaments and then won't play the women's tournaments. But again, that's each to their choosing. Do you have anything to add to that?
Knowing that, we can get points. We don't get a lot of points in Adelaide because we don't get a lot of people come and play, but it's still one of those, you come, you play, you have fun, what more do you need? Or as I like to put on my posts, beer, pizza, pinball, what more do you need?
Yeah, I think for the most part that most of the ladies, when you're running a women's tournament, you're not really doing it for the points, unfortunately, yet in Australia, just because we don't have the capacity yet to run these big tournaments like the open ones. We're not seeing 200 players every time. Like I said, for the first time we had 68 players, which was a major achievement within the Brisbane Masters, but that was from all the women
just in
travelling
the
from
Southern Hemisphere.
Yes. Yeah, from traveling from all over the country. So getting that amount of women just only once a year. So at the locals. But you guys have been doing super well. Do you want to go more in depth about, how your tournaments have been playing out? No, you've been doing well.
Yeah, I've been doing okay. It's not all about me though, it's about everybody else and letting them all have some fun. And we've been lucky in WA, we've had 5 comps now, and we've had a different winner every time, which is absolutely amazing to see. It's not just dominated by either myself or somebody else. I like seeing other people achieve and win and have a good time. I think one of our smallest comps, we only had 3 women, and that was me, myself, my daughter, and another lady, not some other lady, sorry.
Someone up the street that you picked up.
Yeah, just walk outside. Come in and play this. No, every time we go to any place where we can play pinball, I'm always walking up to the ladies that are playing, saying, "Hey, do you want to come and do a comp?" It's very friendly. It's a casual atmosphere. I mean, there's a lot of us that are very serious. I'm serious when I walk up to the machine, but I'm not when I walk back. But yeah, I just try and basically drag as many women and non-binaries as I can, trying to grow it. If I could get WA up to 20 women, I would be wrapped. And I'm hoping that will happen, but we just got to wait and see.
Awesome. Do you have anything else to add, Amity, with your tournaments?
Well, at the moment, we're still growing. Quite often, it's just 3 people. Sometimes it's just ends up being like biggest we've had so far is 6 people. And like I've got a couple of non-binary people who have joined us, who are very much, this is fun, we will be back. And that's what we want. And like having people show up and just tell me, I've had fun. That's all I want them to have. Because if they're having fun, then they're going to come along again, and they're more likely to want to join in and open one. And, well, maybe, just maybe, they might decide that they're going to start their own tournament somewhere.
Yeah, because that's the main thing is as soon as they have one good experience, they'll come back. And because the main thing that we've seen, so Netherworld is one of the biggest arcades in Brisbane, so that's mainly where the Brisbane folk go. So a pretty, long time ago, I haven't been to many of them because unfortunately I just never make it to them, but they started the Bells and Chimes meetups. So this is the first step they took into trying to grow the community. So it's not a tournament, you just turn up at Tuesday night and they have select games on free play. So that's a really good way to just try and get, more of the community involved. So only the ladies and non-binary players are allowed to play these for free. And so it's a good way for someone, if they just walk into the bar and go, hey, what's this? They're allowed to play it for free. And it's just a really good way to just get people started because, a lot of people, they come up to me and they go, I didn't even know that pinball's still made. So it's a really good way to just, get them started. Even if, they don't enjoy it, at least, they've tried it, they know it exists. So that was a really good thing that Netherworld did. So if anyone owns an arcade or goes to an arcade, it's a good suggestion to give to them to go if they're trying to get more women involved in their tournaments. Just have a free play night for one night, see if people are interested, and then that's been going for quite a few years now. And then we started doing what did we call it? We did about 3 tournaments each year, and so I tested out different formats with all the ladies that normally play in Queensland, and I said, all right, let's figure out what you guys are wanting. And what we found was, ladies love to be competitive, but we also like to play a lot. So you've got your normal match play events, which is a 4-player group, and you get randomly assigned to games. But the problem is it takes a really long time. You can play for 6 hours and only get through 8 rounds. So that means only 8 games of pinball within 6 hours. That's not a lot of games of pinball. It's quite boring sometimes when you're waiting between games. So what we found was the best in Brisbane was Flip Frenzies, which started at Netherworld, where you play for 3 hours and it just continuously draws you into games with one other person. So it's very social because you're most likely going to play everyone attending, and then you get to play nearly 20 games of pinball in 3 hours for $20. So it's a pretty good deal. So we've done that now for 2 years. I've hosted that at Netherworld. And yeah, it's always a good time because all the ladies wanted just to meet each other, encourage each other, and just have fun. And so if you're ever wondering what can you do to make sure you can get people into playing, Flip Frenzies are a pretty good format. You don't get a lot of points, but the whole point of some of the women's tournaments that you do, you're not trying to really get points. You're trying to encourage the ladies just to keep coming back. And then, for example, when we have the Brisbane Masters, pretty much all the ladies that normally went to the Brisbane pinball meetups, I told them, hey, just try the Flip Frenzy one time. They came to the Flip Frenzy, and then they actually then came to our main event at the Brisbane Masters. So it's that kind of stepping stones, you lead them, and then eventually they realise, oh yeah, I actually do like playing competitively, but it's not for everyone, and that's why you have the free play nights. So yeah, and on that note, do you guys have any other recommendations you could give to the audience if they were to try to increase inclusivity or try and advocate for more women in their community or arcades? What steps could they start taking? I know it's a pretty loaded question, but
Oh, sometimes I can walk in and it's just males, and that's quite daunting. It's like, try and make sure that the males who are around are not going to make the women feel uncomfortable, because I have walked into places and walked out because the males have decided that, oh, there's a woman here, I'm going to hit on her. Oh, there's a woman here, she mustn't really like pinball. It's like, yes, I do. Fuck off. I will beat you. And, well, a lot of the guys who play competitively here, well, not here in Adelaide, will tell you, I have a habit of lulling them into a false sense of security and then kicking their asses.
yeah, no, it's the best thing to do sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that's also another thing. If there's women who play in your area, and there's a woman who's just rocked up, that introduce them to each other, because that's a really good way of showing women who are trying to start that there are actually others who are playing. That's one of the most important things. If they're not seeing it, well, are they going to be interested in coming back?
Yeah, I think a good way to summarise it is don't make assumptions about maybe players as they enter. Like if you see a lady, maybe never seen them before, don't make the assumption that they haven't played before. I think is a good way to put it as well, being like a male-dominated, I guess, what are we going to call it? Game, sport? I'm not sure. Controversial topic. If it's a game or a sport, ooh. We're not talking about that here, but like a few stories is, I've walked into Netherworld. I've been playing at Netherworld since I was 13, but again, I don't expect everyone to know me. I'm happy that people don't know who I am, but I'm playing a tournament game. It has a sign saying it's for the tournament, and someone tapping me on the shoulder going, hey, this isn't a tournament. I'm like, yes, I'm playing in it. And they're like, oh, shit. And then they realise who I am. But it's good to just not make the assumption, as Amity said, if someone walks into a bar and they're a lady and, they're seeing some interest, just going, hey, like, have you played before? Like, not going, do you want me to teach it to you? Don't do that. It's good when if they go, no, I've never played it before, go, oh, I can give you a few tips. If they said, yes, I've played it before, be like, oh, do you want to play a game with me? We can, like, do strategies and stuff like that. But I think it's always good not to make assumptions, because that can be a bit of a deterrent. If someone's always going like, I can teach you how to play pinball if you want to. No, it's like, no, I've been playing for probably longer than you've been playing, but that's okay. But yeah, I think it's always good to just go in with a clean slate, pretend it's just a neutral person, and
I
just
think
treat
that
them like a normal
applies to
human being.
just about everyone who walks in. Don't assume that they don't know how to play.
Even when they're younger too, because I know it goes both ways. If they're a young person and then they'll kick your ass, don't ever think that they don't know how to play pinball, because they will probably kick your ass if they're under the age of 18. They've got quicker reflexes than you, so don't assume.
And a better brain. They can remember things more than we can. That's my problem anyway. No, I just... I had started up the women's comps. One lady walked in and goes, yeah, I don't play much. She whipped our ass, all of us, and she actually won. And it was fantastic to see her win. But she came in and just played. She didn't have any, I've got to win this, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that. She just got up to the machine, pressed start, started playing. And we're all going, oh, my God, where'd this come from? But She was great, and she has been back to every women's event, and she's now starting to come to the Opens, which is fantastic, because that's what I like to do. I like to try and encourage the ladies to come to the Open, because it's more people, you get used to playing with more people, and there's different people with different skills, and you can learn a lot from watching other people, talking to other people, listening to conversations that are going on beside you. It's not just you walk in and you know exactly what you're doing. If you're open-minded and you can pick up what people are saying and watching and doing, you learn a hell of a lot. And that's all I want people to do. And I just prefer them just to enjoy it. And if they're not enjoying it, have a break for a while, come back. So that's all I like. So
That's a good question. How do you, for someone that's interested in playing, what advice would you give them to help them transition from women's to opens tournaments?
I would just turn around to them and say, just go, don't worry about who is there, how many people are there, just concentrate on having fun. It's all about fun. It's not about winning, it's about hitting a silver ball around a box and hoping that you hit whatever you need to hit and get some points. Like if we have a lady that has never hit anything and she's hitting a good score, we all give her a cheer and congratulate her and everything like that. And we all do that in the Open in WA as well, all the ladies that go, because there's a few regular ladies that go to the Open. Where we play, it's called Atomic, which is in Northridge. You won't know where that is. But that's it's got about 9 machines and they're all different. So we've got some older ones and some new ones, which is really good for the new people to come in and see that there's really fast games and there's really slow games. So I just think it's amazing for them to come in and get out of their comfort zone and have a go.
Do you have anything to add, Amity? No, yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I think you summed it up. Just, yeah, there's no real way. The good answer is don't push it. Some, women prefer their women's tournaments, as I said, some of them prefer just open. So it's one of those things that you go, hey, this is an option if you want to. It's a bigger playing field, bigger prize money sometimes, which is nice. But it's a good way to put it too, that you're broadening your field as well competitively, because there's always such a point that you get to within playing with the same group of people. It's a good way to put it in perspective, like, hey, you can play with this group of people now and, better your playing style, because the more you play against harder people, even though it sucks getting beaten up, eventually you do get better. And that's, probably what you guys found too. When I was 12, my dad would give me little objectives. So if I was playing Metallica, I'd go, okay, my only objective is to hit Sparky. If I get the multi-ball, epic. I have won. I don't care about what score I have. I've won. If I have more balls, cool. I'm just hitting the ball around because I actually don't know what to do after that. But you give yourself objectives, and that's kind of what we do as well with the meetups. Give each other objectives. Today we're just going to hit the ramps on Jaws, for example, or we're going to hit the big fat well walker on, that was also one for my Walking Dead as well as a kid. Just get the well walker multi-ball. If you do that, good, I've won the night. Doesn't matter what score I've got, I did the objective. So just letting them know there is little fun things you can do on pinball, and if you're not into competitive, it's okay. And then if you want to broaden your sense of competitive skill, you can go to opens. Oh, we've got another question from the front. Yep. Oh no. Oh no. All right.
Are they more serious?
Yeah, okay. I'm inspiring people to go overseas, because everyone in here, we're all going to go overseas because we're going to become really good players. Women's tournaments is hard as well, because it's kind of the same situation in Australia, even though we think that they're a level above us, because in all of the international tournaments, they've got way more players, they've got way more prize money. The women's tournaments are actually in quite the same spot as us. They're all still trying to build up their own scenes, especially with the state of the world right now. A lot of states, it's quite hard to get women to come together at this point in time with just different political views and stuff like that we're not going to go on to. But it depends on the tournament. So like your World Championships, the women's tournaments are quite competitive. I would say they are different to regular women's tournaments that we do here, that are like the local ones where you're all socialising. It is very competitive. They are like the open tournaments, I would say. Head down, you're practicing, you're not practicing, you're playing, and you're trying to win, because there is big prize money overseas and you have travelled all this way, so you're going to try and play your best. But it is still very welcoming, a very inclusive environment. Of course, they're not standing right next to you telling you what to hit the entire time. It is still a competition at that point that we're all against each other, but it is still, I would say, a much welcoming and comfortable environment than playing in an open. I don't feel as if I've got as much nerves and stuff. Texas is a different story. That was different. Texas Pinball Festival is what Lyndon went to, and this is kind of what this expo is based on this weekend. The women's tournament there had 74 women players, which was big in itself because a lot of people don't really travel for that expo. It's kind of like their local thing as well. All the Texas people go to it. So it was like 74 Texas women from like younger than me to, I think there was like a 60-year-old player. Like it was like a wide range of ages, which was amazing. And it was 8 rounds of match play, but only top 4 went to finals. So that was quite a stressful day because you could not drop a game, otherwise you will not be in the finals, unfortunately. But it was still the same environment. Everyone was quite kind and encouraging. They were all acting like it was their local tournament, even though it was a big deal. And it had big prize money too, but I don't think actually anyone realised that at the time, because after they discussed it and told everyone what the prize money was, it was, but yeah, there's a lot more opportunities overseas, and again, that's because of sponsorship. So that's a big thing that we can touch on as well. Sponsorship is probably the main way that we can get this scene to grow, is having sponsors be able to support the women's scene, because again, you know, prize money isn't everything. Obviously fun is, but that is an attractor to a lot of competitive players, especially, yes, for travel as well. Yes, you need sponsorship. So I think the best way we can grow is hopefully trying to get more sponsorship on board, and then getting more women into the tournaments, because, you know, they're getting something out of it at least as well. Any other questions? Oh, we've got another one.
What is your favourite women's competition in all of Australia?
Oh, favourite women's tournament. It's hard now.
You run.
Well, that's easy for me because I have very little people come to our comps, but coming to BPAC and standing in a room with 60 other ladies it's mind-blowing. You just sit there and go, I'm playing with all these people, where before, okay, we have the 30 people in the open, but you don't have the 60 ladies. And I'm just sitting here gobsmacked going, this is amazing. I would love to do this every month if I could. I can't travel that much unless you work harder. But yeah, so walking into a room of 60 ladies is daunting, but it's also fun because I like to play with the other women, and I like to talk to the other women, get to know them, which is why we travel so much. And it's just a lot of fun.
I'm good now. Yeah. I will also second BPAC. That's going. It was where I first learnt what a women's tournament was meant to be, and that was actually the one where we got blocked off from the males. It was a bit of fun because I could go, haha, you can't come in. But also it was far more, I found this year's far more welcoming, and like we could actually have our partners, our parents come in, and they could see what it's like with 68 women and us playing, and how much fun we are having. And again, the fun is the important thing.
Yep. Oh, true. I run that though. Alex said I'm not allowed to name a tournament that I haven't run that's my favourite, but I don't know if I've come to any of your tournaments. It's my first one will be tonight of yours, so I like Amity's.
Dude, what
No,
about
I haven't come to one of your women tournaments yet. I haven't been to Perth. Dad, can we go to Perth?
You need to go to Perth.
No, obviously I love BPAC. That's obviously my favourite tournament because it's the one time we can all come together as a country, really. It's really a spectacular event. But I would say that I still really love the Netherworld Flip Frenzies as well, because it's one of those things where it is a tournament, obviously, but it still feels like a social morning. We have the venue to ourselves because it's before Netherworld actually opens. And it's just really heartwarming to see when the ladies are just so comfortable with each other that, you know, they're sharing tips with each other while they're playing. You know, they're giving each other the heads up, like, hey, look, you've got an extra ball. Like, don't, like, you sometimes don't see that in tournaments, unfortunately, because people just get too into it and they want to have you have your downfall at any point you can to make themselves feel better for some reason. But everyone's just very supportive of each other. We're all trying to make each other better, because the fact is you don't want to make anyone's time miserable, because they're not going to come back. And then it's like, what's the point of it then? We're not going to have any ladies left in the tournament. So I definitely love the flip frenzies, because again, like you said, every week, you know, someone else is winning, and so they know that they're improving and they're getting better. And you can see that we're getting better too, because as the time has gone on, I think everyone used to average about 24 games, and now the average is normally 16. So that means everyone's playing longer games because they're unable to play as many games during the 3-hour period. I'm like, guys, why is the maximum number played 16 this week? Like, you guys are all taking too slow. Like, you're meant to go fast. You're meant to go fast, but everyone's playing so well now. They've gotten used to them that, you know, it's really nice to see that everyone's coming back and enjoying that format. So definitely recommend a Flip Frenzy if you ever want to do it.
Hi. I very much want to think about everything that you've been able to achieve with this and what's going on with Bells and Chimes, because it's such a beautiful thing to see. I really want to know what's one of your favourite moments that you've had at a Bells and Chimes or a women's meet, and just something that you can think about, like what's just something that's one like little thing that's just highlighted to you, like this is it, this is what we've achieved.
I have something in my head right now. It's quite weird though, but so if you guys want to think about it, it was because it was about 2 months ago. There's a player that we haven't seen in a while. Her name's Emily, because she has pretty young children, so she brings her like 6-year-old little girl with her to the tournaments because she doesn't have anyone to look after them. But she had her son strapped to her the entire time she was playing, and she ended up coming second behind me. So that's my favourite moment, because everyone was calling it the lucky child, and we were all rubbing his belly like the Buddha, because she still played. Like, there's no limits to pinball. She could still see the flippers, so she just kept her son strapped to her, and she came second. So that's my favourite moment right now that I can think of.
Actually, mine probably would have been at an open tournament here in Adelaide. It was one of the big ones, and it's like, it was actually signing people in for the day, and there was another female who walked up to me and said, "Oh my God, it's so good to see another woman here." That was Petra.
Yay! Look, we brought back Petra. She's still here.
And
You little sneak.
she hasn't looked back, and Petra and Jan were kind enough when we had a slump in competitions to open up their house to us. That's also one of the best places to go and play women's tournaments, because we get a few
Going
people.
to Petra's house after this. Yeah, Petra's.
Monday.
I'm just going to have to second what Amity said. We started travelling in Canberra and met all these lovely people. And since then, we've been to Petra's women's comps a couple of times, and it's just really nice to come and play at a really, really relaxed atmosphere with beautiful people, having a great laugh, picking on each other, you know, oh, you missed the ball or whatever it was. And that's been one of the highlights. Also, in our women's comps at Atomic, we have a lady that she's a carer, and she comes with the lady that plays. Every week I say to her, would you like to play? And she said no. And then one week she come up and goes, oh, look, I'd really, really like to play. I went, fine, no charge for you. Come in and play and have the best time you can. And she's also turned around and said, oh, I won't play in the Opens, but I'll come and play in the women's events, which is absolutely amazing, because she sat there for 6 hours anyway. So I said to her, just come and join in. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to play, just have a bit of fun. So that's about those two things for me.
Awesome. Just on that, we've kind of touched a little bit, but my final question before we do more questions from the audience was, what's the final bit of advice that you would give to anyone that's trying to just start making their pinball scene more inclusive, trying to make, you know, that barrier to entry for women, you know, it's just being more accessible to women players and non-binary players, and just trying to make a more diverse pinball community in their area?
That's a hard question.
Sorry, I told you the question earlier.
I didn't think about it. I was busy playing.
Petra's got an answer. Petra's got an answer. Watch your language. Yeah, I think we already kind of touched on that. That the reason why women's tournaments, yes, the women's tournaments are more appealing is that sometimes going into an open tournament it can be very intimidating, especially. Of course, being a male-dominated field, course language is main factor. I think I could say being very rough to games, it can just be a big turn-off to women seeing that aggressive behaviour, especially within open tournaments, and that's why we've taken the steps within most tournaments where, you know, players receive a yellow card if they display that behaviour, so that we are limiting that, because again, it is just a game, as we said. You know, you're hitting a ball around, but to some players it is a lot bigger than that, and we understand that. But yeah, to make everyone else comfortable, it's making sure that you're aware of your surroundings and the people that you're playing with, and just being respectful of everyone in the game, really.
Well, that's what I was going to say. As you know, we've only just started up, but if anybody walked in to come and play, all the women, or myself and my daughter especially, would just go in, welcome them, get them all in, introduce them to everybody, and just make them one, you know, and just tell them just have fun and be yourself. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, or whatever, just be yourself and have fun.
Anything to add, Amity?
Yeah, basically it is a come along, have fun. Doesn't matter if you can play well. No, I don't care. I care that you have fun at my tournaments. I don't care if you're the best player in the world or not. You could have just walked in and started playing. Actually, this month we had someone come and play pinball for the first time. So it's like that was quite daunting for them, but they had fun and they're back.
Awesome. All right, we can do questions now, I think. I don't know what the time is. No, don't do questions. No? You don't have any more questions? 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 More questions? Yes?
No question.
No question.
Just a bit of validation. As a father of young girls
Yes.
who are like, you know, new to the hobby, I think it's just really nice that they got a safe space and a conduit into the hobby. You know, they don't need to come into a room just full of older men and stuff. They can come in to a room full of their peers and, you know, fellow girls, and just enjoy the hobby and not feel intimidated by the scenario. So yeah, thank you for that.
Exactly what we want to do.
Yep, that's what we want.
to do. Especially when you don't have someone. There's a lot of stories I hear from international players, especially, that they were the ones that got into it because it was them going down to, you know, go to the grocery store or see an arcade game, and they were the only one playing. They didn't actually have parents that could take them. So having those accessibility to those spaces that welcome them when they don't have anyone else to go with is the main reason why we do it, you know. Want to have everyone be able to feel comfortable to go by themselves if they have to. But we've seen that, you know, if they have fun, they bring their friends because they're like, oh, this is a fun thing to do on the weekend or at night, and then it, you know, it keeps flowing because then they invite their friends, and then that's how we expand the hobby, which is really lovely to see. Oh, whoa, we got two. Oh, firing from everywhere. Well, yes, so there have been recent steps to do that. I'll repeat the question. Has there been steps taken to protect the transgender community and gender diverse community with pinball? Recently, yes. So the IFPA is the massive overarching people that control all competitive pinball specifically. Mainly, they've recently made new rules for just diversity in general and making sure that it's a safe space, that pretty much if you are anyone that's excluded from a tournament, minusing, you know, women's and non-binary tournaments, obviously men are excluded, SARS, but if you've made a tournament and you exclude any player, it cannot be a certified event. So it was mainly put in place with trans players not being allowed to play in women's tournaments or being excluded from certain places in certain states, but they have made the steps to make sure that that doesn't happen, and we are fortunate enough in Australia. I don't think we've had any issues with that, especially in Brisbane Masters. I think we've had a handful of non-binary, and trans players come in, and there have been no issues, so we are really fortunate in Australia to have that. Yep. We're not talking about Facebook.
No, we don't want to know about the
We're
cesspool
talking
that
about
is Facebook.
in-person tournaments is nice. It's very welcoming. Yes. Yeah. Yes. You've broken it.
no.
You've broken it.
I've got one for there may be a pinball manufacturer in attendance at this expo.
Where is he?
He's not here.
Yeah.
So
Asshole.
slack. So slack. Boycott him. Boycott him. Yes. He asked me a question the other day, and I'd be interested in your views about pinball themes. And he asked me, do you think a Barbie pinball would sell well? Now, there's always been the old argument about there's too much, nipples out on game things, and it's all male-dominated back-glass art. From the women's perspective, would you think a more female-centric theme would sell well, or would it be a disaster because most men buy pinball only?
I can give it to you from a marketing perspective, which is being a marketing graduate. No, it would not sell well because unfortunately the state of the hobby is still male-dominated. If they've got wives, yes, they might, or daughters, they might be convinced. But again, the main market of pinball buyers are male. The one thing that we've seen, though, Pokemon has sold really well because it's a very well-known theme. So Barbie could be whichever way they do it, because they did Alice in Wonderland and they did not do it the way that we thought. That would have been a great game to put on location because, again, it's a theme that everyone knows. It's Disney, so everyone knew it, but they did not do it that way. So unfortunately, that did not sell well. But if they do something like Pokemon, where it's a family-friendly theme, it's well integrated, where it is maybe like even the Barbie movie, where it actually had a...
I'm thinking female-centric themes, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I reckon if it's a female-centric one, you'd have to try and get Dad to buy it, and it depends on how much Dad's wrapped around
do
their
you
little
love me?
finger, as to whether he would buy it for them. I don't know. Right now, I don't know if it will sell very well. Hopefully down the track, years to come or months to come, if they tried it, then there was more women, I think it would be quite good. But it just, not in today's market, not yet.
No, and the reason why they sold well in the late 80s is because they did sexualize women, and unfortunately that was just the state of the world that back then that's what sold. So if they did a Barbie theme in this modern age, it wouldn't sell unless it was maybe something appealing to the male gaze, at least, because they are unfortunately the target market right now for pinball. Yeah, don't frown at me. You're the target market. It's your age bracket. You're 50 years old. 50? No, you're older than that. 60. Next question.
Hi. I was actually going to touch on that, like in a lot of the artworks. I've noticed, I think this is going dead. No, I think it's dying because it's going in and out. Anyway, how do you deal with, or does it not bother you, like the hypersexualization of pinball artwork? Because to me, that's been one of the really disappointing things that I've seen today. And it's one of those things, yes, dying. One of those things where it doesn't really make you feel safe, and it does make you question the men that, or even women that hang around in the scene.
Do you have something yet? I would say from a young age, I was fortunate that I didn't play those games, so I wasn't really aware of them. I don't think it would have been a turn off per se. I guess it would be the way that people would perceive them around me. So because the people around me, when I played with them, obviously they were all 40 to 50-year-old men, because they weren't making a big deal about it, I didn't see it as an issue. If they were around me, I heard comments like, oh, look at her boobs and stuff like that, I think that would have been a bit more damaging. But because nowadays everyone understands, again, even though it's sad to say, it was that time period in the world that the way to sell pinball was appealed to the male gaze so that they would put their dollar coin in it, that playing up as a 12-year-old and seeing Whoa Nelly, again, I was a little bit turned off by it, because that was a game that I did actually have to play in a weekly tournament, and it was the first time I really saw that, I guess, I would say. I knew it was wrong, but I didn't see it as a turn-off because the people around me were very respectful of it, and they knew it was wrong too, and they didn't make comments about it. Yep. Have anything to add to that last question?
No, because we need to wrap things up.
The time's up.
Well, yep.
Yep. Well, thanks everyone for coming along.
And if you have any questions, feel free to come up to us. We have a bucket load of information. And if you're ever interested in seeing any women's tournaments in your area, we have a Facebook page that is public now. It's called the Femmes in Thems Pinball Collective. And it pretty much just shows, we try at least showing event dates for any women's tournaments in local areas hosted by us or other people like Petra, who is over there. If you ever want to know what local tournaments are in your area, follow that page. And yeah, thank you for coming.
Yep. And there is a women's tournament tonight, so
Yes,
you're
women's
welcome to
tournaments
come
right
along.
now. You can come to a women tournament if you want to
yeah.
try it tonight.
And well, as soon as we're set up, we'll start letting people in.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. We've just got another one coming through. Thank you so much again. What a lovely, lovely group to have on board. I'll get to the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.